It's Al Cole from CBS Radio, host of the syndicated talk show People of Distinction, cluing you in that in our 21st century, I'll tell you, products and services are sold through video. That's right, so sell it through video at Al Cole Enterprises and SAG 14 Production Company. You got it, and right now you got it too. Enjoy another outstanding audio clip from our international guest list featuring my son, the fantastic Benji Cole, on People of Distinction.
On the line with us today, we have none other than Joe Burgess. We'll be discussing his new book, The Trip, available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble ebook format. And Joe was brought to People of Distinction today by none other than Ingress Advertising Publishing. You can find them at ingressadvertising.com. And without further ado, we have Joe on the line with us, so let's just go ahead and jump right in. Joe, thank you so much for being a guest on People of Distinction. How are you today?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me. Appreciate the call.
Absolutely. Well, Joe, tell us a little bit about the book. Let's just go right into it.
Well, the book, The Trip, is about me in partnership with two other guys that I knew from swimming and water polo, and the other two guys knew each other a little bit better through lifeguarding, and they had been planning this adventure on ocean kayaks to go down the coast of Mexico, and eventually I was asked to go, and I thought, well, I'm not prepared to do that, but sure, after doing a bunch of things, finishing school and not finishing school and hitchhiking on the western states, I said, yeah, I want to go. So we prepared all this stuff, and we ended up leaving Puerto Penasco in the fall of 77, and from that point on, it was a day-by-day adventure of meeting people and going in and out of little Mexican villages and not knowing when our next stop would be or where our next meal would come from. And just the process of dealing with the three of us and traveling, and eventually Steve leaving part of the trip, and then me and Rusty being together the rest of the way. And I thought, from my perspective, I wanted to write this story as an observer of the emotional aspect, the physical aspect, the preparedness aspect, and just getting along and getting through stuff, and the relational dynamic of it all with an adventure as the background. And some part of my life also included in that, how I felt as a kid, being involved, meeting people, and how I just dealt with the whole thing. Thank
you so much for that synopsis, Joe. It's interesting when we were talking on the pre-screening call and we were discussing, I thought this was a fictional narrative. This is all based upon true events. I mean, you actually went through all of this. Is that correct?
Right. That's correct.
That's absolutely incredible. And I'm just curious, really for my own sake, how did your parents feel about you taking on such a feat?
Well, I was always kind of a little closer to my mom, and my dad was kind of aloof. I felt it was normal at the time. Our parents at the time coming out of their childhood, and my dad was an only child being raised by his grandparents. His mom didn't really get to know him till he was in high school, and my mom had one brother, never knew her dad. My dad never knew his dad. But when I said I was going to go and do this, my mom said, well, here's a credit card for gas on the way down, you guys, and here's this, and here's that. My dad just got up and went to work and never said goodbye or good luck or much of anything. And I was kind of surprised at that. And I was with my friends, and I said, well, it's just another adventure. Let's see what happens.
Definitely a different time for sure.
Yeah.
Joe, next question that I have, obviously we're discussing The Trip, and it's a self-narrative of this amazing trip that you took when you were younger and a lot of things that you come across. And clearly it's a multi-layered book with so many different dynamics that way. If there is one thing that you would really want our audience here at People of Distinction to be able to pull from this interview that they need to know about The Trip, what would you say that is?
You almost got me teared now talking about it, because I think love is the only word that really describes what we did then.
Absolutely.
And what we do now.
Again, Joe Burgess, we're talking about The Trip, available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble ebook. And if this interview hasn't moved you, check your pulse, because this is something that is definitely a book, an array of sunshine and inspiration that we truly need right now in our human family. So go out and get the book and get to reading, because it's definitely going to move you.
Appreciate it.
It's Al Cole from CBS Radio, host of the syndicated talk show People of Distinction, cluing you in that in our 21st century, I'll tell you, products and services are sold through video. That's right, so sell it through video at Al Cole Enterprises and SAG 14 Production Company. You got it, and look forward to enjoying other outstanding audio clips from our international guest list featuring my son, the fantastic Benji Cole, on People of Distinction.